Today is September 27th. It's the 271st day of the year, and this is the On This Day podcast. Today is World Tourism Day, celebrated by the United Nations World Tourism Organization, or UNWTO, since 1980. Or maybe that's UNWTO. September 27th is chosen for the observance of World Tourism Day because it's on this day in 1970 that the statutes of the UNWTO are adopted. Maybe it is UNWTO. World Tourism Day promotes the role of tourism within the global community and its effects on social, cultural, political, and economic values worldwide. So celebrate World Tourism Day today by going on a trip. Don't forget your passport. A patent for, quote, new and useful improvements in friction matches is filed on this day in 1892 by Philadelphia patent attorney and cigar lover Joshua Pusey. By this time, matches have gone through various designs ranging from insanely large and dangerous to smaller but bulkier wooden sticks, which are safer for use. The problem is you have to carry them around in a wooden box. Tired of this inconvenience, Pusey decides to make some improvements. His goal is to produce a cheap and convenient friction match that is handily and safely carried in the pocket. While paper matches have already been patented in the prior decade, Pusey's concept takes it a step further. In his design, he attaches the matches to the device that also encloses them, a folded cover which can be opened and closed like a book. According to his patent, the cover is, quote, provided with an igniting surface or composition whereby the matchbook may be conveniently carried in the pocket, and when it is desired to light any one of the matches, the same is torn or broken, and the ignitable composition may then be brought into frictional contact with the igniting surface. This is a cool concept, for a few weeks. When Charles Bowman files his patent for the matchbook, Pusey challenges the patent, but Bowman wins. Not to be outdone, Pusey sells his patent to the Diamond Match Trust in 1896. He also becomes the company's patent attorney. Bowman's luck runs out and his company folds. The Diamond Match Company incorporates Bowman's design into their product, becoming the first mass producer of the paper matchbook as we know it. And Joshua Pusey, who files his patent on this day in 1892 for the first paper match folder, enjoys a little karma and probably a nice Cuban. Born on this day in 1840, Thomas Nast. The German-born Nast will come to be known as the father of the American cartoon. His father is a trombonist in a regimental band, and he has liberal political leanings that don't jive with the political climate in Germany. Feeling uncomfortable there, he sends his wife, daughter, and 6-year-old son Thomas to New York City, joining them a few years later. Thomas Nast is not the most stellar student. He prefers drawing over schoolwork and drops out by the time he's 14. For a short period, he attends the National Academy of Art until tuition becomes unaffordable. He needs work and begins to freelance in 1855. 7 years later, Nast joins the American political magazine Harper's Weekly. He is the first cartoonist to have weekly publication in a magazine with a national circulation. Nast draws for the magazine for the next 25 years. In 1862, he visits Civil War battlefields, reporting on the war through his sketches, sending them back to New York for the magazine to publish. Over time, as he works, Nast evolves, becoming more of a satirist and political commentator. His illustrations deliver profound political messages with strong visual impact. Through his drawings, Nast is able to steer public opinion. During the Civil War, he's strongly pro-Lincoln, pro-Union, and anti-slavery. He portrays Southerners as the enemy, a cruel and barbarous enemy. President Lincoln refers to Nast as, quote, our best recruiting sergeant. Nast supports causes he believes to be just through the use of allegory and melodrama in his illustrations. He becomes a crusading civil reformer. Scholar Albert Boehm states that, quote, as a political cartoonist, Thomas Nast wielded more influence than any other artist of the 19th century. His impact on American public life was formidable enough to profoundly affect the outcome of every presidential election during the period of 1864 to 1884. After the Civil War, Nast adds book illustration to his workload. He will go on to illustrate more than 110 books throughout his career. But it's the power of his political cartoons through which he leaves his mark on society. He frequently returns to themes of racism and anti-Catholicism. Though baptized Catholic, Nast converts to Protestantism and takes aim at the Catholic Church in his work. He considers the Church a threat to American values. He opposes the, quote, encroachment of Catholic ideas into public education. Nast is particularly angered when New York City Democratic political organization Tammany Hall proposes a new tax to support parochial Catholic schools. Nast supports non-sectarian public education to diminish religious and ethnic differences. In 1868, the corruption of Tammany Hall Democrats and current Tammany boss William M. Tweed, aka Boss Tweed, become targets of Nast's artistic skills for the next 3 years. Depicting Boss Tweed as a sleazy criminal is so effective, the cartoons play a key role in his downfall. Tweed is arrested 5 years later and charged with fraud. While attempting to escape justice by fleeing to Spain, Tweed is recognized by Spanish officials. From one of Nast's cartoons. Things begin to change for Nast in 1877. Fletcher Harper, the publisher of his namesake magazine, dies. Nast and his editor, George William Curtis, have differing opinions on politics and the role Nast's artwork should play in political discourse. Though his cartoons begin to appear less frequently, Nast will stay at Harper's Weekly for 9 more years. In 1892, he tries his hand at his own publication, Nast's Weekly. But by this point, he doesn't have the following that he once did. His publication folds after just 6 months. With a wife and 5 children to support, he needs money. So he applies for work in the State Department. President Theodore Roosevelt is a fan of his work and offers him an appointment serving as Consul General to Ecuador. Nast accepts this position and travels to his new post in July of 1902. 6 months later, Thomas Nast, born on this day in 1840, dies of yellow fever during an outbreak. There are 95 days left in the year. On This Day is produced by me, Dave Schultz. Thank you very much for listening. Today's episode, written by Elizabeth Schultz. On this day in 1777, Lancaster, Pennsylvania is the capital of the United States. For one day, the Continental Congress flees Philadelphia when the city is captured by the British. After setting up shop in Lancaster on this day, Congress sets up a temporary capital in York, Pennsylvania the next day. So if you're still listening, I'm going with Unwato. Talk to you tomorrow.